Well, hello everybody. This is Keys 94 and welcome to another episode of Explore with Keys 94 here on YouTube. Some of you may have seen last week's episode where I was riding my bike around Gabriola Island. And between that episode and this episode, a week has passed. Some of you may want to know that today is the day after. So I'm really feeling it in my legs. I'm feeling Gabriola in my legs, guys. So in this episode, I'm going to be taking it pretty easy today. Going to be looking for some geocaches in the Burke Mountain neighborhood. By the way, if you have not seen that Gabriola Island episode, do take a look at it. I put a lot of effort into it, and I hope that you enjoy it. So right now we are walking up a very nice neighborhood trail in the Burke Mountain neighborhood here. And today we're going to be looking for a number of geocaches up in this part of the lower mainland. The first one we're going to be going for is a multi-cache. So hopefully we find it. Currently walking to ground zero right now. Okay, so ground zero has brought us to this bridge here. And by ground zero, I mean the first stage of this multi-cache. So I'll definitely be able to give this away a bit more. May have to do a bit of creative editing when I actually find this geocache, hopefully. Haven't found it yet, obviously. The beautiful greenways we have here. These are what you would call riparian zones. They are actually fenced off. Burke Mountain actually does a great job keeping areas like this quite natural. So the city will plant trees in here, native trees, coniferous trees, all that kind of stuff. And just follows this creek. It goes all the way, eventually to the Fraser River. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go and get these numbers for the final geocache. One of the best ways for me to tackle a multi is I will copy and paste onto my notes feature the geocache description. From there, I'll be able to gather all the numbers that I need for the final cache, and then once all of those numbers are obtained, then I will be able to copy and paste that to the coordinates and have that as a new waypoint for the multi-cache final. So in this case, I just want to give a big shout out to Mr. Bob the goalie. He has really contributed to the game out here in the lower mainland, especially in the Tri-Cities. The Tri-Cities being Port Moody, Coquitlam, and Port Coquitlam. And the description on this cache page is kind of funny. So he says, "Was on the way to hiding this and my gas was low, but I figured it was enough. Well, I was wrong. Not only did the low gas indicator come on, but it was also a steady beep. So I was running on fumes. Quickly, U-turned and heading to the nearest Canadian gas station. $88.99 was what it took to fill me up, so hence the cache name." So the cache is not on the posted coordinates. Bring a pen, watch out for wildlife, and be nice to the environment. The coordinates will take you to a pedestrian bridge, and you are also looking for a small white sign with black letters. So we're going to be looking for a small white sign with black letters. And a really great thing with this is that, should be able to find it right about here, actually. So this is what we need to figure out the final coordinates. So A is number of letters in the second and third words in the fourth line. So number of second and third letters in the fourth line. Third number of the section minus the first number. Yeah, kind of just looking at a sign and gaining the coordinates this way. It's a pretty, simple multi, but hopefully it will get me to where we need to go. All right, so to spare you the boring task of obtaining those numbers, I was able to get all of that information down. And what I do, since I know that I am navigating to the final, I tend to add the coordinates to the posted coordinates, which is on the cache description. So I'm going to just post these here, click accept, and we have now freshly obtained coordinates. And then I go back to my app because I was on the browser, I'm gonna go back onto my app. I'm gonna refresh the description. And from there, we should see the true location of this geocache. I'm not gonna give it away, so let's go on over to this find. Okay, so not gonna lie, this is really sus. There's a hiking boot in there. Hazard to guess that's not the cache. Another find for the win. Okay, so the good news is I get the bus as high as I could and walk down. Gravity's in my favor. But the drawback to that is it's still hard on the knees. I'm still recovering from yesterday. And if you're walking around this neighborhood and you want a bite to eat, there is the Ibis Cafe, just over here next to the Burke Mountain Discovery Center. All right, it's my order. It's the Adiano and the peanut butter cookie. Jeez, how did that happen? Okay, now that we're all fueled up, we're gonna be going for a geocache called a letterbox hybrid. And now, if you have not heard of what a letterbox hybrid is, the old school letterbox hybrids would give you directions to where the geocache is instead of coordinates. So, for example, turn left at the bench and then walk several hundred paces down the trail and you see a red fire hydrant, turn right at the red fire hydrant. And eventually, bit by bit, you will get to where the actual cache is. Letterbox hybrids have sort of evolved since those times of when I started geocaching in 2010. Right now, we're going for a letterbox that I've actually already solved the coordinates for. So in the geocache description, the coordinates are actually written on there. So I just edited them and we can walk right to the final location. So it's basically like a traditional geocache. Some letterboxes just have the posted coordinates, and at the posted coordinates is the letterbox geocache. So they're kind of a weird. Some of them can be more closely related to a traditional geocache, in which they're at the posted coordinates, and some are more of a treasure hunt style. They have definitely changed. But the one major requirement that has to be in a letterbox is a stamp. Technically, theoretically, they should also be entered in on the letterboxing.com website, which is a slight offshoot from geocaching. It's an older website, has not been maintained in a very long time, but letterboxing is interesting. I'd like to look into that a bit further in one of my episodes. All right, we go right. 50 meters away and dropping. I thought I was done with the hills. Just the uphill. 36, 35, 34. Look at that beautiful cedar tree. Dude. Okay, 19 meters. 13 meters. We are brought to a stump. What does it mean? Whoa, double stump. All the way rooted in the ground. Right. Spoiler alert, folks. Checking to see if the coast is clear. I think I may have spotted something very, very, very suspicious. A very unnatural color while looking around here. With the exception of that tree tag, an orange tree tag. I saw something absolutely fabulously pink. A fabulously pink toilet with a geocache attached to it. You never know what you're gonna find in the woods. Just like that. Beautiful, pink. Oh my goodness. Where do you find these, Bob? Seriously. What? And in case you're wondering where he put the stamp, because this is where the logbook is, he put the stamp right in there. This is still considered an official letterbox cache. Okay, so with that successfully found, there is another letterbox cache that's just down the sidewalk from here, just down another nature trail. And I'm in a bit of a dilemma here because I do want to find it. I would like to find it today because I'm in the area. So some of you might remember way back when I was working on my multi-cache calendar grid, my year's worth of multi-caches, which was in a tremendously incredible feat for me because I kind of started a little late. A few years ago, there was a big push to put out a whole bunch of multi-caches across the Lower Mainland. And I decided in my spur of the moment thinking, I'd like to try to get them all. And in one go, basically. And then so I basically multi-cached them out. Then later on, I see this challenge cache up on Brittany Mountain near where I live. And well, turns out you have to fill in your year's worth of multi-cache calendar grids. So I'm in this weird strategic thought where, should I go for this letterbox cache today, or should I wait and fill in a spot on my letterbox calendar grid? It's right here. There is another challenge cache actually out in the area here, which requires you to find 300 letterboxes. I'm not even close yet. So that's more of a quantity over a strategic date. So since I'm like walking past it, I think I'm gonna go for it. I still have quite a few letterbox caches to find, but I had to kind of start thinking about that because right now there's been a big push, much like the multi-caches several years ago, a push to put out a whole bunch of letterbox caches. So it's gonna be really interesting trying to sort that out. There are still a lot I can find, so that's why I'm going for this one right now. But it is a balancing act, trying to fulfill challenge caches, but also just enjoying the game and not have to think about too much strategy in it. Well, hoodly doodly. We are brought to ground zero. That over yonder is what you'd call a nurse stump. If there ever was a nurse stump, that is one. Do ourselves a little bit of searching. Take a look-see. Look at this nice, natural, beautiful rotten wood. You know, it was a tree. Now it is no longer. Look at that. Look at that strange, looks like petrified wood. What could that be? Huh? But wait, what? That's just some strange fungus. Very strange fungus. It's like the fungus has a compartment behind it. What? There's like a baggie. I wonder what kind of natural forces made this bag. All right, folks, we have officially crossed into the Port Coquitlam realm. And it's as if the air is different around here. It's kind of funny. I joke. That side is Coquitlam, and this side is Port Coquitlam. Two separate municipalities. The first stage of this multi-cache that we are looking for right now is here at this bridge with a very nice, peaceful creek winding its way. We got to figure out how to get these final coordinates, because this is a two-stage multi. Another big shout out to Bob the goalie for hiding this multi-cache, and I had to laugh when I was reading the description. He writes, "Bring a pen, be nice to the environment, watch out for wildlife. Coordinates were jumping around like a squirrel doing espresso shots, so I left a detailed hint, but only if you need it." I can just visually imagine an espresso, hyped up espresso squirrel. Silly me, it looks like the coordinates are actually closer to the street here. Ah, interesting. Okay, I think this is where we get our coordinates. Looks like it was drawn by a kid in the city of Port Coquitlam. Made it into an official city sign. So contrary to what I thought it was this sign, but it's actually this no dumping sign. Okay, so with the coordinates freshly obtained, it's actually, once again, not that far away from the starting coordinates. I'm gonna drop my backpack there, hopefully that doesn't get stolen. And we're gonna go over to this here stump here. I have a feeling. Okay, I think maybe I was mistaken here. I thought it was gonna be up there, across, like off the trail. I think he might mean differently in the hint here. Off camera, as I was looking for this geocache, I ran into a fellow geocacher, Christy Yo Twisty. And anyway, she and I found the geocache. And I got completely distracted. I started walking off, and then I realized, I guess I should probably show you folks where, and well, at least what type of container it is. It's actually a pretty neat hide. Take you over here. Spoiler alert, folks. Oh dear. I already signed it. I walked off. I was like, oh, I guess I should probably film this. Check it out. Bunny rabbit. Okay, putting it back where it rightfully belongs. All right. Signed, sealed, and moving on. Well, everybody, that concludes another episode of Explore with Keith 94 here on YouTube. I want to thank you all so much for coming along on this adventure with me to Coquitlam and Port Coquitlam. Really awesome walking trails, some great geocaches, and some really idyllic streams like this one. So if you like what you saw, please do hit that subscribe button because there are more episodes to come every Saturday at 5 a.m. So until next time, happy adventuring and happy exploring.